I want you to try something with me right now. Remember the last time you were truly broke. Not just tight on money, but genuinely broke. The kind of broke where the number on your banking app makes your chest tighten. A wave of anxiety washes over you, lying in bed at 2 a.m., doing endless math in your head. Can you pay the electric bill, push car insurance, and still buy groceries? You know the numbers don't work, but your brain won't let you stop. The constant struggle to make ends meet. Your kid asks for something small at the store, just $4. A wave of shame hits you because you have to say no. You can't explain why without unraveling your week's fragile architecture, the feeling of being trapped. Remember that feeling, the fog, the weight. Everything felt slower, harder, louder, closer. You couldn't think of anything else. The future stopped existing. There was only today, a problem you couldn't solve. This isn't just emotional. Researchers at Princeton and the University of Chicago have proven it's neurological, cognitive, and measurable. Under financial stress, your brain literally works differently. Your working memory shrinks and executive function degrades. Your ability to plan, weigh consequences, resist impulses, and solve complex problems all decline. Not because you're weak, stupid, or lack discipline, but because your brain is running a background process. This process consumes so much cognitive capacity that little is left for anything else. Poverty takes your money and your mind. Then the world judges your decisions, made with a diminished mind, and calls you irresponsible. If you feel like you're drowning in decisions, or wonder why you can't get organized or plan ahead, or if you've thought wealthy people are smarter or more disciplined, listen closely. They aren't built differently. They run the same hardware, but with fewer background processes eating their RAM. The difference isn't character, it's cognitive load. Today, we'll explore how this works. We'll cover the science, why the system worsens it, and how to reclaim your mental bandwidth. Let me tell you about David. He's 29, works at a distribution warehouse for $15 an hour. His car broke 8 months ago, so he takes the bus, adding 90 minutes to his commute each way. He gets home at 7:30 p.m., eats quickly, sets his alarm for 4:45 a.m., and repeats the cycle. David isn't dumb. He graduated high school with a 3.2 GPA and can fix almost anything mechanical. He dreams of starting a small engine repair business, an idea he's had for 3 years. But he can't start or even research it. By the time he gets home, his brain is done. Not just tired, but like a computer with 47 browser tabs open, frozen, lagging, incapable of processing more. David isn't lazy. He's cognitively bankrupt, and the economy made him that way. In 2013, researchers Mullainathan and Shafir published Scarcity, Why Having Too Little Means So Much. Their work changed how economists and psychologists understood poverty. It's not just about culture or access. They found that scarcity itself, the mere condition of not having enough, changes how the human brain functions. Literally, here's the experiment that proved it. Researchers gave subjects cognitive tests. Before the tests, they imagined a financial scenario, a car repair costing $150 or $1,500. For wealthy subjects, the bill size made no difference to their test performance. But for low-income subjects, thinking about the $1,500 repair significantly worsened their scores. The mere act of contemplating a serious financial problem consumed so much mental bandwidth. Their measurable cognitive performance dropped, equivalent to losing an entire night of sleep. Thinking about an unsolvable financial problem produces the same cognitive impairment as 24 hours without sleep. The fog is real. It's been measured, published, and replicated. This mechanism is called tunneling. When a resource is scarce, the brain narrows its focus to the immediate scarcity. An evolutionary adaptation. When your brain tunnels on the rent due Friday, it can't allocate attention to your retirement account or the job application deadline The car noise that will become a $2,000 problem or your kid's permission slip. You're not forgetting because you don't care. Your brain is hijacked by the emergency, locking out everything else. Anuj Shah extended this research, finding that scarcity changes how you perceive trade-offs. When you have enough money, buying coffee is just buying coffee. When broke, it triggers an involuntary mental calculation. $3 is half a gallon of gas, the difference between making it to work or not. Missing work means the electric bill goes unpaid. Every small purchase activates a cascading chain of trade-off calculations wealthy people never perform. You're not overthinking. Your brain is doing what it's designed to do under scarcity. But this energy is lost. Poverty degrades decision-making because poor people make 10 times as many decisions per dollar. Each decision costs cognitive resources that don't regenerate until scarcity is relieved. There's a third layer: what happens to the brain under sustained financial stress over time. Chronic poverty is linked to elevated cortisol levels, the stress hormone that triggers fight or flight. Sustained elevated cortisol damages the prefrontal cortex, responsible for planning, impulse control, and reasoning. It's the part of your brain that says, maybe I shouldn't buy this, maybe I should save that. Chronic poverty literally shrinks the part of your brain that makes good decisions. And then society blames you. An MIT study confirmed this isn't a one-way street. Poverty causes cognitive impairment and depression. Depression and cognitive impairment cause worse economic outcomes. It's a feedback loop, a spiral, a trap. Intervening on either side, money or mental health treatment, can break the cycle. But without intervention, the cycle accelerates. You're not stuck because you're not trying hard enough. You're stuck because the trap is engineered to convert your effort into friction. It's truly enraging. Poverty taxes your brain. Scarcity narrows focus. Stress damages your prefrontal cortex. The cognitive load is devastating. But here's the truly enraging part. Systems meant to help people in poverty are designed to make the cognitive burden worse. Let's start with the benefit system. If you're low income, you don't go to one place for help. You go to SNAP for food, Medicaid for healthcare, Housing Authority for rent, Child Care Subsidy for daycare. TANF for cash, LIHEAP for utilities. Each has its own application, documentation, verification, and renewal. Its own reporting, caseworker, and office hours that conflict with your work schedule. A low-income family may need 10 to 20 administrative interactions per year just to maintain existing benefits. Each interaction requires gathering documents, taking time off work, traveling, waiting in line, and navigating complex language. Every form, phone tree, letter, deadline, and recertification costs cognitive bandwidth. That's mental energy not available for anything else. The system meant to reduce burden actively increases cognitive load. This isn't an accident. Researchers call it administrative burden, a de facto eligibility screen. The harder you make it to access benefits, the fewer people access them, even if they qualify. Increasing application complexity reduces enrollment by 15 to 30% among eligible families. Those who drop out aren't those who don't need help. They're people whose cognitive bandwidth is too depleted. The single mother working 2 jobs who missed a recertification deadline covering a coworker's shift. The elderly man who lost food assistance because he didn't understand a letter about a new bank statement. They are David, who qualifies for 3 programs he's never applied for. The process feels like one more impossible task. A list of impossible tasks his brain cannot hold. The system is designed to make it harder. Now let me talk about the financial system. If you are poor in America, the financial infrastructure you interact with daily is designed to extract fees from your cognitive limitations. Overdraft fees are the clearest example. The average overdraft fee is $35. It is triggered when your account goes negative, often by a small amount, often because of a timing mismatch between when a bill auto-drafts and when your paycheck deposits. Banks earned over $6 billion in overdraft fees in a single recent year. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau found that 80% of overdraft fees are paid by just 9% of account holders, and those account holders are disproportionately low income. This is not a service. This is a tax on cognitive overload. When you are juggling 6 bills across 2 pay periods with a balance that fluctuates by the hour, the probability of a timing error approaches certainty. The bank knows this. The fee structure is designed to profit from it. Payday lending operates on the same principle. A payday loan charges an average annual percentage rate of roughly 400%. Nobody with full cognitive bandwidth and a range of options would take that deal. But payday lenders do not market to people with full cognitive bandwidth and a range of options. They market to people in crisis. People whose car just broke down and who need it to get to work tomorrow or lose their job. People whose kid just got sick and the copay is $80 they do not have. People who are tunneling so hard on the immediate emergency that the long-term cost of the loan is literally invisible to them. This is not predatory lending in the sense that a shark attacks random swimmers. This is predatory lending in the sense that the entire business model depends on the cognitive impairment produced by poverty. They are not lending to people who cannot do math. They are lending to people whose math processor has been overwhelmed by scarcity. And then there is the built environment. Low-income neighborhoods have fewer grocery stores, which means longer trips for food, which means more time and more decisions and more cognitive load. They have fewer banks, which means more check-cashing outlets and more fees. They have worse public transit, which means longer commutes, which means less recovery time, which means less cognitive bandwidth the next day. They have more environmental stressors, noise, pollution, crime, instability, all of which elevate cortisol and further degrade prefrontal function. The physical spaces where poor people live are cognitively hostile environments. Every aspect of the surroundings is draining the very mental resources that would be needed to escape. Here is what all of this means when you put it together. Poverty is not just a lack of money. Poverty is a cognitive state. It is an environment. It is a system of interlocking stressors that degrade your brain's ability to function, and then punish you for the degraded functioning. The person who forgets to pay a bill is not careless. They are overloaded. The person who takes the payday loan is not foolish. They are tunneling. The person who cannot seem to get organized and plan ahead is not lazy. Their prefrontal cortex is under chemical siege. And the cruelest part is that the people who judge these behaviors most harshly are the people who have never had to perform cognition under these conditions. They are judging the performance of a brain running on fumes against the performance of a brain running on a full tank, and concluding that the difference is character. I want to be honest with you about something before I give you strategies. The real solution to this problem is not individual. It is structural. The real solution is reducing poverty itself, simplifying benefit systems, regulating predatory financial products, investing in the built environments of low-income communities, and providing universal access to mental health care. Those are policy solutions that require political will and collective action, and they are not going to happen by next Tuesday. So what I am going to give you now are strategies that work within the system as it exists, not because the system is fair, but because you deserve tools that help you today while the bigger fight continues. The first strategy is to ruthlessly reduce your decision count. Every decision you make costs cognitive bandwidth. The research is clear on this. So your goal is to eliminate as many daily decisions as possible, especially financial ones. Automate every bill you can. Set up autopay for rent, utilities, insurance, subscriptions, everything. Yes, this requires a small buffer in your account to avoid overdrafts, and I understand that buffer is hard to build. But even automating 2 or 3 bills removes those items from the mental juggling act your brain performs every week. Eat the same breakfast and lunch most days. Lay out your clothes the night before. Create a single weekly grocery list and buy the same core items every time. These sound like small things. They are not small things. Each one is a decision you no longer have to make, which is bandwidth you get back for something that matters more. There is a reason that wealthy executives like Steve Jobs wore the same outfit every day. They understood intuitively what the research now proves. Decision fatigue is real, and eliminating trivial choices preserves cognitive resources for important ones. You deserve that same advantage. The second strategy is to externalize your memory. Your working memory is compromised under financial stress. Stop relying on it. Write everything down. Not on your phone where it disappears into a notification graveyard. On paper, a physical notebook that sits open on your kitchen counter. Every bill, every deadline, every appointment, every task. One place. Always visible. The research on cognitive offloading shows that